He's the host. You run the show.
I'm the main host.
You're the main host, one of the most electric receivers in NFL history. Desean, when I see your highlights, I just miss an NFL where you're running around out there.
I know. I don't miss it though.
At all?
Nah, I feel like I gave the game everything I can give it. I don't, at the end of the day, I know the great thing about it is I walked away knowing I can still play the game. That's it's mind-boggling for a guy to play 15 years. Like I could have literally played 18, maybe 20 years. Who knows?
When you're seeing when you hear these comparisons, these like, oh, Rashid Shaheed, or back a couple of years ago, Tyreek Hill, or these game breakers, Xavier Worthy. When you hear them and your name, do you like that, or are you like, no, I'm one of one?
I'm for sure one-on-one. I appreciate that, but honestly, the games have the game has definitely. How I look at it, I'm like a trendsetter, right? So for me, like I feel like I've created an edge to the game where it's like before me, it wasn't too many of me. So now, once you see Desean Jackson do it, then you have a lot of people come after that. So for me, I'm here for it. And I love to see the game and see how it's a transition. And right now, it's a lot of passing going on. When I was coming up, it wasn't as much. So I'm happy to see the game definitely transition into a lot of passing.
Which receiver in the NFL right now is closest to you?
That's kind of hard to answer. I just feel like there's a lot of young, talented wide receivers, a lot of guys that show glimpse. Now to say who's Desean Jackson, that's kind of unfair to say, but like I would say like a Tyreek Hill, he's a different player. He's a different player. I think our build is a little different. But I like Tank Dell. Tank Dell's a very young, talented wide receiver. Obviously, Xavier Worthy is still young, but he has a glimpse of it as well too. But it's some great young talent in the league right now, though. And I'm happy for it. For me, I'm an older guy that's once did at a high level, and I love to see the youth basically take the game to another level. So there's no hatred. I don't get mad when I see young dudes breaking records or doing blossoming plays just like I did. I'm here for it. I love it.
And they all sort of want to be you. They look at you. They watch your tape. They mention your name when I talk to them. You mentioned Xavier Worthy. Big week one out of him. He had these 2 touchdowns, and then somehow Coach Lou and the Bengals defense were sort of able to keep him under control in week 2. You know Andy Reid. What is the key for him to find consistency in that offense?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so Xavier Worthy, obviously, we've talked multiple times, and one thing I like about him, he's willing to learn. Obviously, being in the Andy Reid system, when Andy Reid during training camp, Andy Reid sent me a text message, and he was like, "Look at this kid. He reminds me a lot of you." And I said, "Hey, big fella," I said, "slow down. It's only one D-Jack." I said, I like what he's doing. I said, it's crazy. That quarterback, I'm jealous of your quarterback. I wish I would have had a quarterback. Now, don't get me wrong, McNabb, Michael Vick. I played with some great guys.
Okay.
Mahomes, I was mad at that. So Xavier Worthy, he's obviously asked me how to get off the ball. Guys are trying to press him and trying to slow his speed down. So, I just told him just be like a cat. Like for me, the reason why I had so much success, I never really had a plan when I came to the line of scrimmage. I literally would react. And I think if he can go into every game and every week, it's good to watch film. It's good to see what defenses are doing. But at the end of the day, things change. So a lot of times I thought I was going to see a certain coverage, and they came to the game and showed us something totally different. So I would say just, react and just play and have fun. The games are a lot faster than it was in college, though.
Yeah. It's well said. You're saying you don't miss the game. I think the game really misses you, and that's the way you want to be, right? You're good, but there's some heartbroken Eagles fans out there. You and I talked about this on 25-10 yesterday, and I sort of brought up, I think there's some confidence thing going. I think the team thinks they're going to lose, and then they lose. We've had a little bit now to think about it. How do we fix this for the Eagles going forward?
Man, I think it's crazy because whatever soundbite I'm about to say is going to be taken, and they're going to be like, "Oh, D-Jack said this about the Eagles," so I have to be careful in what I say. I want to pump them up and definitely uplift them. But at the end of the day, you just got to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what is it that you want to be? What's the identity this team wants to be? And like I told you yesterday, I expressed to you, I feel like I don't want to call us a great team yet, but I feel like we're a very good team, but we just haven't learned how to be great consistently. So I just think in games where they have the lead, they just have to sustain the lead. They can't allow to get in the league in the fourth quarter and let the lead go. You know what I'm saying? And I just think as a quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he has to make it a little easier. And obviously, AJ Brown is a big person to replace, but Devontae Stiff is a baller. You got Saquon Barkley. I mean, you got Dallas Goedert. I mean, it's a lot of talent on that team. Where if one man is down, obviously he might not be AJ Brown, but you just got to make it easier. And I think run the ball. Like if I'm Kellen Moore, I'm just gonna run the ball. I would give the ball to Saquon in certain situations and just let him be a dog.
Jalen said after the game that he spoke to the team and no coaches said a word. What do you make of that?
I mean, this is his team. They rewarded him with the contract. I mean, obviously 200 and something million. And as a quarterback, I mean, it's on you to lead your team. And I think just as long as you're able to lead and show with what you're doing on the field, it obviously adds up. Now, Nick Sirianni, I know what type of coach he is. He's like a player. He's like a player type coach, so he's able to give his players that respect. But for me, I don't really look too much into it. We lost the game that we know we should have won into a team, a caliber of a team like the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. I just know we're better than that team. So it's just frustrating. But, I mean, it's 1 week. We got to bounce back this week, and we got some tough games coming up. You know what I'm saying? And we have a stretch of a lot of tough games. So I'm just excited to see what they do this year.
Yeah, you say, like, what is the identity of this team? It's crazy that we're in this again. Like, but it is. Like, what is the identity of this team? You have the consistency of the coach. You have Lane Johnson here. Always got each other's back. You have Jalen. He's paid. I said now you add this piece in Saquon, but it's still like, what is the identity of this team is still a question. It's weird.
Yeah, I think you go on from, like I said, the Super Bowl, obviously, in a game where I felt we should have won, but you can't go back on that. Patrick Mahomes is a beast, and we lost that game. So as far as the past year, we start off on fire, 10-1, and then we go down and lose 4 out of the last 6 games. I mean, that's terrible. And now off of a year where we bring in Kellen Moore, we bring in Saquon, it's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that we brought in. So there's no more time to say, oh, next year's our year. I think, like, this year is our year, and we have to make it our year. I think we're a Super Bowl contender. I feel like we should be in the Super Bowl. Now, if the Chiefs are playing in that game, it's going to be a tough game to win. I love Andy Reid, and I love what he's doing over there, and it's like the big brother that you can never really beat. All these years it was Tom Brady, and now that's what the Chiefs has turned into. So I just think, man, we'll see some great football from the Eagles, but we just got to figure out our identity. And my phone keeps falling, but we just have to figure out our identity and winning tough games, keeping leads that or sustaining leads. Not just keeping it, just sustain the lead, and then obviously finish it in the fourth quarter. A football game is 4 quarters. It's not 3.5 quarters. Mm-hmm. It's not 2. You know what I'm saying? It's 60 minutes long, and at the end of the day, that's the mentality you have to have being an elite.
Yeah, that should be the identity. Finishing should be that's what they should try to make the identity. They got the Saints in New Orleans. What do you think happens in that game? Sorry, they have the Eagles have the Saints in New Orleans. Who you got?
You heard my whistle?
What is that?
I mean, did you not just see the Saints beat up on the Cowboys?
I did. So you think the Saints win again?
Derek Carr is playing out his mind. I'm not going to sit here and pick on your show that my Eagles going to lose, but at the end of the day, they're playing some lights out football right now, and I just think off of what I've seen the past 2 weeks, Derek Carr is playing out his mind. Alvin Kamara is playing out his mind. I mean, that Saints team is going to be tough to go out there and beat them. I think right now the odds are that we're -2.5. I see it on your screen. Yeah, we're down. We're obviously
crazy
the favorite to lose. They think we're going to lose. So I think my Eagles are going to win. We can't go 0-2 in the past 2 weeks. We can't do that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to take my Eagles. But it's going to be tough. But at the end of the day, forget everything. Let's go play football. Let's go out to the Big Easy and win a game. But I think it's definitely gonna be tough in that environment.
I was watching that game, and when Drake London scored that touchdown, the celebration reminded me of my former co-host, Nate Burleson. Did it remind you of that? That was what he used to do, and he got fined $10,000 for that. Against you, he did that, remember?
Yeah, that's crazy. So what, for shooting in the air?
I think so. He did that against your Eagles in 2012. I remember Nate did, and he got $10K for it.
Dang, see, that's crazy. See how you bring me back to make me feel young? I didn't even remember that. That's crazy. So he got fined 12K or 10K too?
I don't know. I don't know if he got fined, but listen to Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris had this to say when he was asked about Drake London's celebration.
Initially, I didn't see it, and I guess it was the use of a weapon, how people interpreted that as a fine, as a penalty, and Drake is he's a great kid, and his intent was not as a use of a weapon. He probably was shooting T-shirts into the stands, to be honest with you, though, because he's just that kind of a guy.
Now that's a coach that has his boys back. He doesn't want him to get a fine.
I know Raheem Morris very well, man. He's definitely one of them guys where you could kind of get roughed up with him. I used to go at Raheem all the time, but he's definitely a coach that got his players back. But I think at the end of the day, I understand it, using a forceful weapon or something to shoot. I get that. They used to do the same thing about the bow and arrows too, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. We're not portraying the image to kids to be harmful or do anything wrong, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. So the NFL definitely gets very excessive on fines, and let's not look up how many fines I had over my career, because there's a lot of money that I could have sent somewhere else.
How much do you think you were fined in your career? Was it a lot? Really?
Yeah, it might be over $250,000.
Shut up.
Over 15 years. Now, I'm for sure up there. I used to get fined crazy.
For what?
Socks, shirts.
Oh.
It was something about me. I didn't like to follow rules. I don't know what was that about me. I'm one of one. I got my own rules.
Was it worth it looking back on it, or you just chalk it up to the game?
When you're a real one, when you made a lot of money,
Yeah.
sometimes you may look back and be like, dang, I could have used that somewhere else. But at the end of the day, I'm blessed. I'm still blessed, still making money at a high level. So, I'm good. We good over here, baby.
Good.
We jackpot.
You're good. Let's get to some other storylines here. You're good. Houston's good with Stephon Diggs, and the Bills are good without him. They're the top team in the AFC East.
That's crazy.
They're cruising. What do you make of that? What is the lesson in this?
I honestly didn't see this coming. Obviously, I knew Josh Allen was a hell of a quarterback. I know how lights out football he plays. I didn't see this coming. I honestly didn't. They let go of their whole defense. They let go of Stephon. They let go of G. Davis. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling to me the way they're playing. One thing I will say, Sean McDermott is a heck of a coach, and he's a leader of men. So I definitely understand where it's coming from, but I just didn't see it without all the. How you let go of your top two receivers, all these dudes, Poyer, Hyde, you let go of all these dudes, and y'all playing lights out football, man. It hurts me a little bit, because I was this offseason, I was on some media, shows, and I bashed them. I didn't think they was gonna be good.
They got the Jags at Highmark on Monday Night Football. That'll be an exciting matchup on ESPN for Joe and Troy to call. That'll be a good one with your favorite quarterback, Trevor Lawrence.
That's what I was gonna say. My boy Doug Peterson over there, man. Dang, Doug, you talking about my boy? See, you know me too well, because I was finna tell you that's your boy and Trevor Lawrence. How they doing over there?
You're so ridiculous. You keep talking about coaches, so I have to ask. If I were to take Andy's not on the board, you can't pick Andy. Who's the best coach in the NFL?
Right now, present or just all time?
Present.
Ooh, best coach right now in the NFL. I'm gonna go Sean McVay.
Really?
Oh, Sean McVay.
Do you think they'll be okay? I think everyone thinks they're done. No Puka, no Cooper, and I just feel like they're gonna find a way. Because of him. No?
I don't see it. It's gonna be tough. Where your production coming from?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. I just feel like he'll figure it out. People are saying Stafford might get traded to the Raiders. I'm seeing this all over Twitter. Are you seeing that?
And their quarterback is gonna be who, the young dude from Georgia they draft, or no, Garoppolo.
I
They
don't
got
know, but
Garoppolo too,
I'm
right?
like, I would be excited to see. I mean, I like Minshew. They like Minshew, but that would be a wild
Stafford,
thing. And Stafford to
Stafford hooking
Devontae
up with
with
Devontae, your
Brock,
boy
with
Devontae.
Brock, my boy Devontae, your boy Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know about that. I mean, honestly, I know Sean McVay. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl in 2021, so I just think he's a young, talented coach. I think he's doing the best he can with his talent right now. And obviously, after losing like an Aaron Donald, that's tough to replace. Obviously, their teams, they lost some kind of key players as well too. Obviously, Puka being hurt, Cooper going down. They got
Yeah.
my boy Tutu Atwell might be able to pick up the slack. They got Demarcus Robinson. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I ain't gonna count them out quite
Okay.
yet.
Can I tell you that they're the underdogs to make the playoffs at plus 420?
Well, I might throw some bread on that.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. And you want the Eagles to run the ball. Why can't they just run the ball?
Yeah, they got the what's the running back number 23? What's his name for the
Kyron?
Rams? Yes, I like him. He's a
I mean,
baller.
I feel like he was slept on a little bit. They said that he was going to do like more in the return game or whatever. But I think plus 420 is a nice place to be. Okay, I want to get to Debo here. Debo told Bleacher Report yesterday that it's now or never for the Niners to win a Super Bowl. So he said, This is what he said: "I've been a part of the best team in the NFL for the last 6 years. We've got to get it done. Is it now or never for the Niners?"
I think it's for sure now or never. I think they have been one of the best football teams over the past 6 years. Obviously, it's hard to say the best, and you haven't won a Super Bowl. So I kind of got to give them a little kickback on that. But as far as their roster, I mean, as soon as they acquire CMC, I mean, obviously Brock Purdy. I know they had the young quarterback Trevor that they or was Lawrence. But I can't, not Trevor Lawrence. Lance. What is the guy's name? They got
Trey
rid of him,
Lance?
sent him back. Trey Lance. They sent him to Dallas. I mean, I feel like honestly, and going back to when Jimmy G was there, they've been playing lights out football. My boy Trent Williams been there. Their defense is stacked. So I think it is now or never for them. And at the end of the day, I got them really running their division. They're gonna win their division. But as far as like the NFC, you got some good teams in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Cowboys, you got the Eagles, you
Packers.
got the Saints playing out, you got the Packers. So I definitely see that they should definitely be in the NFC Championship game. Now them winning it, I don't know, but I definitely agree. It's now or never. If I was in Debo's position, it would be now or never for us.
Gronk told me yesterday that they don't have like an it guy, which I thought was crazy.
You said they don't have an it guy.
Like, Christian's out, I guess, or he made the point that you need to. The Trent Williams is their it guy, the guy that you know is going to bring it. And I was like, you have George Kittle, you have Brandon Ayuk, you have Debo. Like they have all the it guys, right?
Right. So Gronk said they don't have an it guy?
Yeah, that they don't have. He made it seem like without Debo being obviously banged up and without CMC, they don't have an it guy. Like the guy who's going to, I think it meant like the safety blanket, but that should be Kittle. That could be, in Shanahan's offense, I feel like that should be anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could kind of somewhat understand or see what he's talking about because Debo, obviously, he's like the mentality, the heart and soul. CMC's the heart and soul. Like, you know what to expect from them. But obviously, you go out and pay Brandon Ayuk all this money. You have George Kittle there. You got Trent there. You got Brock Purdy, even though he might not be the heart and soul.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you still have a lot of talent on that team. And there's no reason. I mean, with your two guys down, you still got 4 other guys that are dogs. And then that guy, Jordan, what's the new running back name? Jordan Mason? Oh, my gosh. It's crazy about that story because supposedly he didn't even know he was going to play or he was getting a call in from what Kyle said he told him. So that's kind of strange.
Kind of strange. Yeah, they don't have CMC. They do have the Rams. Those games are always so good. Don't you lose in that late window on Fox. All those eyeballs. Don't you lose to those beat-up Rams right now, Niners. That'll cause some drama.
If they lose to that game, are you done on the 49ers if they lose to the Rams 0-2?
I like it when they're in the big game. I want it to be them. I want it to be them against the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl and make it interesting. Those are teams that, those are the teams that disappoint. Like, don't disappoint me. Let's get there. But I do think it's early. It's early.
But you know the 49ers have their edge over the past few years. Shanahan has the edge over.
Yeah.
Sean
Well,
McVay.
Shanahan just lost to the Vikings and his, and Kevin O'Connell. So his like, a guy who he knows pretty well. I don't know if I loved that. We'll see what they do. I want to ask you about college football. I don't have a lot of room in my heart, Desean, for college football. My Saturdays are not for ball. I don't watch, but I got to tell you, on my timeline, on Twitter, Instagram, Cal is everywhere.
Man, Cal's balling.
Yeah.
Hey, balling. What you say? If you seeing this? It's too
I'm
late.
seeing I mean, they're dunking on Auburn fans. They're cooking Florida State fans. What's going on with this undefeated 3-0 Cal Bear team?
Who do we have this week? We got the Florida State this
Florida
week,
State.
Yeah, because we're 3-0. We beat San Diego State last week. I'm gonna just be real. These next two games coming up, Florida State and Miami, they're gonna let me know a lot about this team. Obviously, beating Auburn was pretty I was like, oh, they got them. The first game of the season, UC Davis, not too crazy over that. Auburn was a good win, and then last week, San Diego State. We're supposed to win that. This week right here, we're going to see a lot about these Cal Bears. But you know what? This is this mood, this era I'm in right now, this is pretty good. Because the last time I was able to cheer for the Cal Bears?
When?
Let's take a guess.
When you were on the field for the Cal Bears?
Man, for real. Even maybe going back when Keenan Allen was there, they was pretty good. But my Cal Bears, I've lost. You want to know?
Yeah.
That's another stat. Hey, that's another stat we could talk about. How much money you think I've lost betting other NFL athletes over my career on my college team losing?
How much?
About 2,000.
2,000?
I've lost.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. So you do you think you think Cal's going to win here? But I've heard Florida State's a crazy place to play. It's on the road at State.
It's on the road at State. It is a crazy place to play.
Florida State's favored by 2.5 points at home.
We winning. Cal Bears, go Bears. We winning.